Welcome, folks, to the third installment of our special off-season coaches series on the No Conference for Old Men podcast today, where the three old guys have a special guest and University of Houston assistant coach Mike Ekanem joining us for a bit of Q&A. Hopefully I got the pronunciation right there, Coach.
You did. No, it's good.
Awesome. And Coach is our newest assistant coach on the staff. And for fans that may not know, and hopefully I get this right as well, Coach just joined the UH staff as an assistant coach in May of this year. But prior to joining our staff, he'd already had an extensive resume covering both the college and professional ranks of basketball. I'm not going to get into too much detail because we want to hear actually about your journey directly from Coach. But just before coming to Houston, Coach was an assistant coach in the college ranks at Oklahoma State, George Mason, and Sam Houston. And before that, he was part of the men's basketball support organizations of, I guess it was on Eric Busselman's staffs at Arkansas and Nevada, as well as at A&M and Memphis. To round out his experiences, Coach began his coaching career with stints at Louisiana Tech on the women's basketball team and in the NBA for the San Antonio Spurs. And that's actually where we believe you and Coach Sampson crossed paths initially. So, and we know Coach has had a kind of a pattern of bringing in known quantities and folks that he's worked with before. Sure. So that's kind of our guess. And Coach was a 4-year letterman at Texas Lutheran and completed his bachelor's degree from there, as well as in exercise sciences in 2007, and topped it off with a master's in exercise science from California University of Pennsylvania in 2008, just prior to joining the Spurs. Super impressive background, and we're excited for Coach to join the podcast today. Welcome to the podcast, Coach Ekanem, and thanks so much for taking the time out from your busy schedule.
No problem at all. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to do this with you guys.
Yeah, we're excited for you to join, as well as you joining the staff. You super impressive background. So we've actually gathered a bunch of questions from amongst ourselves as well as from listeners. Anything else you wanted to kind of cover off before we kick things off, or we can go straight into the questions?
No, not at all. Go for it. Straight into it.
Okay, let's go. So I gave kind of a brief highlight of your background and kind of your journey getting into coaching, but maybe you can spend a few minutes providing listeners with your own perspective on your basketball playing and coaching journey. And really, at what point in your playing career did you come to realize that you eventually wanted to get into coaching?
Got you. Yeah. So, and a lot of people ask me that question, like, how'd you get into coaching, or what was your inspiration to coach? Growing up, and I'm from Houston, so Houston native, nice. Born and raised here, and happy to be back home for one.
Nice.
But just growing up, I never thought I would be a coach. It was always, at a young age, it was like, okay, I want to be a professional basketball player. I want to play in the NBA, like every basketball player kid's dream. But then when I got into college, I come from a family of all medical professionals. So nurses, doctors, physical therapists, anything along those lines in the medical field. So my mom was big on, you got to do something in the medical field. Like, that's where the money is. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fast forward several years later, I'm like, nah, Mom, the money's actually in coaching. But so I went to school to play basketball at Texas Lutheran, but my degree was, I had planned on doing physical therapy.
Okay.
So I was along that path. I did all my prereqs and all that stuff. Then had a decent college career, small college ball, but got an opportunity to play overseas after playing college. And then the more I played, the more I was around basketball, the more I was around those coaches. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going back to do any more school. I don't want an office job. I don't want a medical professional job. I want to be around basketball like the rest of my life, or at least as long as it'll, like, God allow me to do it. So just being, like, playing overseas a few years and then just being around basketball, I just got that itch to stay in the game and just find a way to stay in it. I got the internship with the Spurs, and I was able to see all facets of the program, like from the strength and conditioning side to the athletic training side, video, on the court, front office. And I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So it was with the Spurs that I kind of got that itch to, like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life and my career.
So how did you get connected with the Spurs? Did you have a previous relationship of somehow with someone in the organization there, or?
I did not. I didn't have a relationship, and everybody always says it's like coaching jobs, or it's all about who you know, who can make
Yeah,
a phone call for
exactly.
you, and who do you know that can get you this job. And I found that out along my career. But that initial job or internship with the Spurs, it was just, I met one of the coaches. I actually met one of the Spurs coaches. We had a great conversation, and it was about playing and coaching and everything. Like, and he invited me to a practice. So invited
Nice.
me to a Spurs practice. And I'm just it's just my personality, big networker. Like, hey, whose hand can I shake, or whose
Yep.
name can I
It's
remember,
great.
or who can I introduce myself to? I did just that, and ended up getting offered an internship spot on the strength and conditioning side. So with the
Yeah.
strength coach, Mike Brungard at the time, and it just led into a job, and eventually in the video room, and then on the floor, and then I got into college coaching. So
Yeah.
that was my start.
That's fantastic. And was it at the Spurs that you actually initially met Coach Sampson?
It's crazy because everybody's like, Coach Sampson doesn't hire from outside of the family.
Right.
It's always somebody that he knows, somebody that played for him, was a manager for him, and everybody on staff is that way except for myself. And everybody that has worked for him in the past has always come from some type of relationship with him. I got to the Spurs. I had just finished playing in Ireland. I got to the Spurs in March of 2008. Around the same time Coach Sampson got there,
Yep.
he was more of like a kind of advisor in the front office. We really didn't cross paths.
Oh,
I
interesting.
was in like the strength and conditioning room. And then everybody always tried, like, where'd this guy come from? Maybe it's from the Spurs. Like, that's how he knows Coach Sampson. It actually wasn't, but we got a lot of like just common things like the Spurs. And then I worked at Memphis for Tubby Smith, who's one of Coach Sampson's best friends. So like Kellen said it the other day, we were talking to a recruit, and like, yeah, Mike didn't come from directly within the family, but he's like the third cousin, far something like that, because I worked for one of Coach's best friends.
Yeah, that's great.
Nice. Well, I've got a couple of questions for you, but first I'm going to ask one that's a little off script, just because of your time at the Spurs. And when I played in high school, I wore a former Spurs number and had posters all over my room, and he is my all-time sports idol. So my leading into everything, my question is: did you ever get any time with George Gervin?
Not personally. But George Gervin has a school, or at least at the time, I think he still has the school, has a school and like training facility in San Antonio. And I would train kids on the side just to make a little bit of pocket change. And I would train at George Gervin's facility.
Wow.
So I've met him before, but haven't really not spent a lot of time with him. I've met him. I know G a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great dude and was a great player.
Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times as well, but I never really got to know him. All right, so we'll get back into it. Yeah, as the newest member of the coaching staff, I don't think many people are aware of what your specific role is, and if you don't mind, if you let everyone know exactly what your areas of responsibility are, and just what your role is going to be going forward with the team.
For sure. So as with the other assistants, I'm big with recruiting. And coach doesn't give us like a specific region or area. You recruit the West, you recruit the South, you recruit the East. It's not that. It's all about relationships. So who do you have relationships with? Who can you get in with? That's one of my biggest responsibilities is recruiting. Bring your relationships to us, and what players can you help find that fit us here at Houston. And then position wise, player position wise, I work with the bigs, so the fives, the centers, and that'll be Cedric Lott, Khalifa Sacco, and Jacob McFarland. So those three of our true fives. JoJo Tugler is kind of 4-5, both positions.
CNAC
is he's more
of a 4.
Yeah,
okay.
A little bit. So Kellen has the 4s. So Kellen I have CNAC.
Gotcha.
I have JoJo and Chase McCarty.
Okay, got it. You and Steve alluded to this. You've coached at quite a few places, probably racked up some good frequent flyer miles. But you've been under some great coaches. You mentioned Tubby and obviously Steve Lutz last season, Eric Musselman. What I guess what have you taken from those coaches as you come to U of H, and what is it after being at all the other places that made U of H appealing to you and made you want to come to U of H? Obviously, you mentioned being from here, which I wasn't aware of, but I'm sure that at least played a little role.
For sure. So yeah, you said I racked up some freaking flyer miles. I think I racked up I gave a lot of my money to moving companies too.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, been all over the place. But no, I mean I've worked for some great coaches. Hall of Fame coach in Tubby Smith, Hall of Fame coach in Greg Popovich. I worked for Quinn Snyder in the G League. I worked for Teresa Weatherspoon, who's a Hall of Famer at Louisiana Tech 1 year as a women's assistant. Buzz Williams, Eric Musselman, Josh Pastner, Jason Hooten at Sam Houston State, Tony Skinn at George Mason, who was just the A-10 Coach of the Year last year, and then Steve Lutz most recently at Oklahoma State. I've learned so much from all those coaches. They're all unique in their own ways and just learned a lot from all of them. And I think my trajectory as an assistant coach or in this basketball business has just continued to go up, but I wouldn't be at Houston without all of those stops, without any of those guys. Learned a lot from all of them. And then just Houston, to answer the second part of your question, it's just a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like,
Yeah. Nice.
I had there was a agent that called one of my good friends. He represents one of my good friends. And he was like, hey, would Mike have any interest in Houston? They might have a spot opening up. And my buddy was like, absolutely. Like, yeah, that's a good thing. Like, I don't even have to call Mike and ask.
Yeah.
But just everything Coach Sampson has built here.
Yeah.
Like, I was at Memphis with Josh Pastner and Tubby Smith for 4 years, and it was right when Coach Sampson first got the Houston job and got into the league in the American Conference. And I saw, like, you can see it from day one. Like, you can see it, the culture he was building. And it did not take long for him to win here.
Yeah.
So that alone, like, just working for a coach like Coach Sampson, being a part of a program and the culture that he's established here and the recent success, and then just Houston is just, I mean, he's brought it to just such an elite level. It's a household name now. Go to these AAU tournaments and watch high school players play, and you wear Oklahoma State on your chest. Nothing against any other school I've worked at, but Oklahoma State on your chest and walking around and nobody speaks to you. Like, you got to go find your kids. You walk around with Houston on your chest and every coach wants to stop you and say hello. And, hey, how do you guys do this? What do you do about this? How's Coach Sampson? And every kid is like, oh, man, he's from Houston.
Yeah.
Like wearing, Duke or Kentucky on your chest. Like, he's done a great job of building the culture here, building the program here, got it to an elite status. And it's just so much name recognition, a household name now.
Yeah, and it's all been
Nice.
Coach that built it from, because we were basically had lost it all for decades until Coach came.
He's done a great job with that.
So let me ask you this, right? Especially as the newest member of the staff, and you're seeing the culture and the program and how we run things up close with fresh eyes, right? At this point, especially after coming from some really strong programs, right? Coach Lutz's program, and then Eric Musselman, you've been with them at 2 stops with huge success there. How do you compare and contrast a little bit in terms of, I mean, obviously not to give away any trade secrets, but just kind of how each coach runs their program and what they emphasize? Can you give a couple examples of how it's different from, one program to another?
For sure. I would say, and just being here the last 3 months, it's the question I get the most from just anybody on the outside, peers in the business, family and friends. Like, man, what is it about Houston? Like, how has it been? And just in the past 3 months, like, I have seen why they've been so successful. The work that coaches put in, the players put in, the character, like just the character individuals we have. We got guys that want to get better. guys that want to be great, guys that have tasted a national championship game and know what it takes to get back there. So every day I walk in the office or walk on the court to work with the guys, or even our conditioning sessions, like the energy level is always high. Like Coach Sampson, like he brings it every single day. And I guess that's where culture comes from. He brings the energy. Everybody feeds off of him. It's just been amazing. It's been amazing from the staff to the players to the managers. Everybody's on the same accord. And that's different from some other places I've been, not to throw any other programs under the bus. I've been with a lot of successful programs.
Yeah, very successful. Yeah.
At Arkansas, we went to the Elite Eight with Eric Musselman. We were at Nevada. We were top 10 in the country the entire year and had a great team there. But it's just a huge difference in just the culture as a whole. Like I've been on staffs where everybody is divided or everybody's trying to one up the next guy, or how can I do this better than him? Or, okay, he just taught, or he did this scout. My scout needs to be better. Or this coach said something, now I got to say something, or how can I get on coach's good side? No, that's not the way here. Like it's a great culture and it's everybody's on the same page trying to be or reach the same goals.
Hey, Coach,
Nice.
Wow, that's really that's
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that's really interesting. You'd think that with the success that Coach Sampson's had, that the success that the U of H program has had, that other schools would take a pretty close look and notice that the reason that we've been so damn good is the culture and try to replicate that.
For sure. And you say that, and it's like these 3 months that I've been here, I've seen so many other college coaches come in the gym, and Coach Sampson has an open door. Like, hey, you want to try to you want to see what we do, or try to come emulate this with your programs? I've seen so many other college coaches come in and just, hey, I just want to watch for a couple days, and they're sitting there taking notes. And Coach Sampson says it all the time, like you can't just build a culture overnight. Like you're not going to come in here and take notes and take it back to your program and it's going to instantly change. It takes some time, and it's not the culture, it's the standards. He has standards and he doesn't deviate from those standards. So that's the biggest thing with this program, and the biggest comparison or contrast with other programs that I've been at. There may be standards, but okay, well, that kid can get away with some things, and then this kid can't, or that coach can do this. And no, there's standards across the board here, and coach doesn't change from it.
So
that's awesome.
Coach, I've heard Coach Sampson say, on videotapes and all that kind of stuff, he said, nothing we do is unique, X and O wise. The uniqueness comes in the accountability, and that's the difference between our program and the rest of them. Another coach can come watch practice, and most coaches know X's and O's, and we're not going to out scheme anybody. It's the accountability that's the difference, and I believe he was saying that's where the culture comes from, is holding everybody accountable every day.
Absolutely, every single day. But then you got coaches holding each other accountable, Coach Sampson holding the program accountable, but you got players holding each other accountable as well. You got leaders on this team, 3 returning starters, a lot of returning players. Coach doesn't have a track record of a lot of transfers. Like recruit the right guys, and those guys stay. Those guys develop. And yes, a lot of coaches come in and try to, let me take notes and let me see if I can take this back to my program. But I guess culture can't be mimicked, it's or necessarily taught. Like those things got to happen organically, and it has to happen with the right people.
Yeah,
the right people in place.
I mean, I'd say it's no different than in the other workplaces as well, right? With leadership, it starts from the top, and whether that person at the top has got the stomach for the kind of discipline and the confrontation that's needed at times to maintain that culture, right? And we've seen it in spades with Coach Sampson, right?
For sure. No, it's been every day. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed, like just everything I'm learning as a coach. And it's helping me grow as a coach, as a person. But then, like I said, you just see, okay, this is why they've been so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm so happy and blessed to be a part of it.
No, and we're lucky to have you here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you had mentioned earlier on, right, how important recruiting is to kind of it's the lifeblood of a program, right, as you continue to replenish the talent. And your reputation, at least, has been as a very effective recruiter from
For
your
sure.
previous stops as well. So we're looking forward to kind of the role that you play moving forward on that front. Now, are you, focus? You had mentioned that coach doesn't divide it into, regions and things like that. It's about relationships. Does he focus you on any positions, or it's really everyone can recruit all the different positions? It's based on relationships and looking at the right talent.
That's it. It's based on relationships and evaluating. And not really position like it's not I'm trying to go find bigs or find a point guard or we sit as a staff, we assess the roster. Okay, who are seniors and are definitely gone, and then or who could potentially leave. So we got these spots available. So we kind of know like what positions we need, but then there's also just best available. Like if you have a relationship with the top 10 player in the country and you can get us in with them, like we can cater the program to, fit the need of or that player to fit the need of our roster. Like it's
Okay.
not necessarily each coach recruiting certain positions. It's just go out and find the best players that can fit within our culture and that are good characters.
Yeah.
So is it safe to assume that that going forward we could look forward to 3 5-stars and a 4-star coming in every year?
I wish we could say that, but I will say that Coach Sampson and the staff have done a phenomenal job by giving Houston the name that it has right now. And we talk to these kids, or at least I know I do. I talk to kids, and they're top players in the country, and they're excited to hear from me.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That's
calling
great.
from other schools, and they might not answer my call, but from Houston, like they're excited about it.
So let me ask you this, though. Again, being new with the program, and you've recruited highly effectively at some big time programs even prior to this, but you've likely been, I guess, oriented to the type of player that Coach Sampson is looking for, right? And the traits that he's looking for has got to be different, right, to survive the kind of program that we run. So what have you learned, and how have you, what do you focus on in terms of traits, right? Beyond the talent level, what are the traits that you've had to maybe adjust in terms of what you're looking for specifically with the kids?
So there was a kid, of course, I can't mention any names, but there was a kid that I was recruiting, had a great relationship with the kid, his mom, his dad, who was a former player, his entire circle. And this was at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Recruiting the kid. He would have been a great sign at there. And top 10 player in the country. And I get here and I get the job. And it's like, okay, who do you have relationships with? Let's start with those and, start recruiting those guys or continue recruiting those guys. And then we can add to that. And then my first few days on the job, first few weeks, like when the guys got back and I saw the team, I saw practices, started to see the culture. I mean, and I've seen it before playing against Houston at other places. So you've seen it from afar, but you don't really know until you're like actually here.
Yeah.
And then I thought after a while, I was like, yeah, that kid, yeah, he can't play. He's a very, very talented player, but he's a little too finesse, a little too prima donna for what we're looking for, not the type of character that would fit here. So it was a little bit of a learning process. Now I got it, and I know the type of guys Coach Sampson wants. And yeah, we want talented players for sure, but he's done well with not the most talent.
Yeah.
And he's won with talent. He's won with not the best talent. And it's all about how hard they play. So when I'm out watching these high school guys, or if we're watching transfers, or how hard they play, the coach tells you to run through a brick wall. It should be like, should I go head first, or how fast do you want me to go?
Yeah.
So that's what we're really looking at, is guys that play hard, guys that play with a chip on their shoulders, guys that are talented, of course, and have some type of translatable skill. But most importantly, can you defend? Can you play hard? Are you going to do what the coach asks you to do without, talking back to the coach and things like that? And then can you rebound for your position?
Yeah.
So,
but so let me ask you this, especially as the program has reached greater heights, right? From a visibility perspective, prestige perspective with the kids and things of that nature. And we've noticed it as well, regardless of, I know Coach always emphasized that we don't look at star ratings and things like that. We're our own judge of talent, but it's been very noticeable in terms of the caliber of talent that each class is basically raising the bar. Now, as you're starting to talk with some of these more well-known kids on the recruiting front, is it tougher to find kids that have that kind of hunger and that kind of desire, kind of those traits that you're looking for that fit the Houston program?
I don't know. I don't know if I would say it's tougher to find those kids, but in this day and age, and like this NIL era, you do find a lot more entitled kids.
Yeah.
So being the brand that Houston is now, and the brand that Coach Sampson has leveled it up to be, we don't have to cast as wide of a net. A recruiting board isn't 30 and 50 guys to try to get 2 or 3. We could narrow it down to 7 or 8.
Oh, interesting.
To try to get 4 or 5,
Yep.
They've, in the past few years, like, they've had a great track record of landing the recruits that they're in with. So I think it's just such a big brand that it's not tough to find those guys that fit.
Okay.
Like, especially the guys Coach wants right now. He wants guys that want to win, want to be successful, want to be pros, want to be the best they could possibly be. And so we're shooting for the top with that, but we keep it tight with the number of guys we go after.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for the insight there. Now, as we pivot and we start looking for this upcoming season, where basically we're running it back with 3 of 5 starters returning. And as Bill had mentioned, right, we've got 3 5-star freshmen joining the team. Kind of new on the staff, you're starting to work with the bigs, just trying to get a perspective of, how the key players that are returning in your position group, as well as the new kids, how are they adjusting to your coaching and your development plans for them?
So in my position group, I have the three true 5s in Cedric Lott, Khalifa Sacco, who's new, transferred from Sam Houston, and then Jacob McFarland, who missed a year last year with injury. But I think it's been kind of easy, and I'm in a learning process as well because I'm a new guy. But with Ced and Jacob having been through the program, know the culture, know what it takes, they were there in the national championship game and that run. They've been great helping even myself and Khalifa get adjusted to it. And I think it's been a pretty smooth transition, to say the least, but just having those leaders in Ced, who's been here for 3 years or 3.5, and Jacob, who's been here for a year, that's helped a ton.
Well, you got another veteran that I imagine that can help a bit in Coach Beard.
Oh, absolutely. So yes, so Casey and I are together with the 5s, and he's been great for me. Yeah. So definitely Coach Beard, and then those two returning guys have been huge.
Coach, I got a question for you. You mentioned Chase working with the 4s. Does he play guard also, the 2 or 3?
Yeah, Chase is versatile. Chase would be like more of a stretch 4. He's probably one of the better shooters on the team, and so he could stretch the 4. He could be a mismatch at the 4, but I mean, he's truly a wing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, nice. And as part of coaching the kids, and I'll just say within the position group that you're working with, each kid is different, right? They come from different backgrounds.
For sure.
Trying to get the messaging across and the coaching across. Sometimes it takes different approaches to kind of communicate and reach and get the messaging across. And just kind of curious from a coaching and a leadership perspective, what is your philosophy and approach to kind of working with the kids and making sure that your message is getting across as you're coaching them up?
I think with me is you could coach them hard, but you got to love them harder. Like they got to know first and foremost how much you care about them, how much you care about them getting better, how much you care about winning as much as they should care about winning and the success of the program. So I think every player is different in your approach and how they learn and how you have to coach them. But I think we've been blessed with just a great group of guys. Like, and that just comes like credit to our staff and their recruiting, just recruiting guys that are high IQ players, can take coaching, can take criticism, and can continue to just like keep that culture what it is.
All right. I think that's all the questions that we had gathered here today. I don't know, guys, did either of you have any additional questions for Coach?
I think we've about covered everything.
All right. I mean, Coach, any kind of last messages that you want to send out to fans as the newest member of the coaching staff?
Just again, reiterate how excited I am to, be a part of University of Houston basketball. It's gone to like extremely high levels, and it's a blessing to be a part of the program, and excited about what the season has in store. Come out and support.
Yeah.
I've got a question for Coach.
Yep.
Where do you see yourself in 15 years? You're still a young guy.
For sure. In 15 years, I mean, golly,
that's a long time, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. 10 years. Let's go 8 or 10. All right.
Hey, no problem at all. 8 or 10 years. So, I mean, I'm tired of moving, so I plan on being at University of Houston and helping this thing keep that upward trajectory as long as I can, and then hopefully it leads to growing, learning more from Coach Sampson and the staff, and then becoming a head coach one day.
Okay,
sure.
Awesome. Yep, that's what I was kind of getting at. What is your dream to be a head coach? So, yep.
It is, and no rush at all with that. I still got young in the business and still got a lot to learn, but I'm at a place that I want to stay. So I'll be here as long as it takes.
Yeah.
And eventually that'll come, but no rush at all.
That's awesome. I mean, welcome to the staff, Coach. We're really excited to have you.
Thanks so much. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for being on. This was great.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it for this episode 56 of the No Conference for Old Men podcast. Hope you all enjoyed it. And again, would really appreciate it if folks would follow, subscribe, or collect our podcast, depending on your podcast platform of choice. We're also available via the Republic of Football podcast feed from the folks at Dave Campbell's Texas Football as their only basketball-centric podcast, or at the GoCoogs.com website for those that prefer to digest the content that way. We appreciate the continued support from all. Also, please give us a follow on our Twitter account, No Conference for Old Men. And again, we are in our off-season cadence, but please stay tuned as we continue to publish each one of the coaches' interviews in this special series. So please be on the lookout and download and listen as the next episode drops. Take care, everyone.